Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to learn about one of the most loved and frequently picked heroes in KPL, high elo ranked matches, and peak tournament games, Pei. He's one of the best heroes for jungle main players, whether you're grinding ranked or competing in tournaments. I believe Pei is the most worth grinding jungle hero, as he is really easy to learn, and if you master him, you can dominate literally any rank or tournament. This is the 4th episode of my main series.
欢迎来到王者荣耀，全军出击。
And Pei is going to be the star of this episode. In this video, I'll show you how to use his dashes to the best of your advantage, how to restore his energy efficiently so you never run out of it, and how to animation cancel with his skill 2 for insane burst damage. I'll also cover when to switch between his human and tiger forms, go over some of his core combos, and give you some real-time match tips which you can use to come out on top. As you may know, Pei is a tempo jungler. If you don't know what that means, please check out this video on my channel. Also, Pei is the perfect hero for kiting. Kiting is an advanced jungle technique, and I'll make a full detailed video on that very soon. So in this video, I'll go from the basic mechanics all the way to the advanced Pei tricks and shenanigans, and I'll be sharing everything from my knowledge and my friend Assassin. So without further ado, let's get started. As usual, we'll start this breakdown with Pei's passive. According to his passive, Pei has 2 forms, human form and tiger form. Whenever he switches between these forms, he gains certain buffs. When Pei switches to his human form, he becomes a ranged hero, and his basic attacks deal 25 extra magic damage. This bonus can stack up to 3 times, meaning if you hit the same target 3 times within 3 seconds, you'll deal 3 times that bonus damage. But the most important part of his human form is that every basic attack restores 5 energy. This is huge because Pei is an energy-dependent hero, and if you fall behind on managing his energy, both in consumption and restoration, you'll likely perform poorly and lose games more often. On the other hand, when Pei switches to his tiger form, he gains bonus movement speed, increased physical damage, and extra defenses. This makes him a lot more effective in close combat or clutch situations, allowing you to survive and turn fights around. Another key point to remember is that you can switch between these forms right from level 1, so you have full flexibility to adapt your gameplay from the very start of the match. Now you might be thinking, wait, that's it for the passive? Nothing else? No hidden tricks? Well, Pei's passive is actually very simple. And yes, there is a trick related to it, but I can't reveal it just yet. You'll have to wait until later in the video for that. So for now, let's move on to Pei's skills, starting with his skill 1. Pei's skill 1 actually works differently depending on which form he is in, and it's one of the important skills in his kit. I'll also explain why you should never use it randomly or spam it for no reason. In human form, Pei fires out his inner energy, basically like a fireball, straight in the direction he's facing. This projectile pierces through and hits all targets in its path, dealing magic damage to them. On top of that, it deals bonus damage equal to 8% of the target's max HP as magic damage. It also slows enemies by 25% for 1.5 seconds in the early game, and that slow increases up to 50% for 1.5 seconds in the late game. The most important part is that every time this skill hits something, whether it's an enemy hero, a jungle monster, or even a minion, it restores 20 energy. This is why it's absolutely crucial that you don't keep missing your skill 1. If you just throw it out randomly and miss, you won't restore any energy, and Pei will quickly run out of energy. And when he's out of energy, he basically can't do anything. He won't be able to use his skills. So mastering skill 1's accuracy is essential if you want to keep Pei's engine running smoothly. That's his skill 1 in human form. Now let's switch over to his tiger form and see what exactly happens when he uses his skill 1 in tiger form, and then I'll also share a very secret trick with Pei's skill 1 in human form, which you can use to your advantage during matches. When you use skill 1 in tiger form, Pei lunges forward, meaning he kind of dashes forward, to bite the enemy, dealing physical damage. As you know, only his human form usually restores energy. But let me tell you something. If you manage to actually secure a kill using his skill 1 in tiger form, Pei will instantly restore 20 energy. This can be absolutely game-changing in clutch moments. And now for the secret trick I mentioned with skill 1 in human form. You can actually use it to scout bushes on the map, and here's how it's done. If you cast your skill 1 into a bush and an enemy is hiding there, the fireball will hit them, and you'll instantly see the energy restoration effect, meaning you've restored some energy. That tells you without a doubt that there's someone camping in that bush. On the other hand, if you use the skill and don't restore any energy, then it didn't hit anyone, which means the bush is completely safe. So not only is skill 1 your main tool for restoring energy, but it's also an amazing way to check bushes and gain vision control across the map. And remember, when you have vision, you control the game. Now that we're done discussing skill 1 and even that secret trick you can pull off with it, let's move on to the next skill, Pei's skill 2. Just like before, this ability works differently depending on whether Pei is in human form or tiger form. First, we'll go over how it functions in both forms, and then I'll break down 5 different tricks you can pull off with this skill. I'll explain the 3 types of dashes you can perform with it, and finally show you the fastest way to clear jungle using both his skill 1 and 2. So stay extra focused as you're going to learn a lot here. So let's start with human form. When Pei casts skill 2 in human form, he generates a shield that lasts for 5 seconds. But here's the thing, it's not just a defensive skill. While the shield is active, Pei also gains a huge offensive boost with his attack speed increased by 45%. On top of that, the shield itself constantly pulses, damaging nearby enemies every 0.5 seconds with additional magic damage. So instead of just being a simple shield, it actually turns into an AoE damaging ability that lets Pei deal sustained damage while staying protected. Now let's talk about tiger form. If you cast skill 2 in tiger form without hitting anything, it's just a simple dash forward. Not very exciting. But here's real deal. If you successfully hit a wall or terrain while casting it, you immediately unlock a second dash that can be used within 1 second. Meaning, in tiger form, skill 2 can essentially give Pei 2 consecutive dashes if executed correctly. And it's not limited to just natural walls or turrets. You can also pull this off on Lady Zhen's ice pillar created by her skill 1, or even Ada's ultimate field. Basically, any interactable terrain counts, giving Pei incredible mobility options. There's one more mechanic you need to understand. The second dash from tiger form. Skill 2 does not restore any energy, even if it hits a target. However, if you manage to land the second dash directly on an enemy, it reduces the cooldown of skill 2 by 50%. That's a massive benefit, because it lets you recycle this mobility skill much faster. So even though it doesn't give energy back, the trade-off is very fair. It gives you insane mobility potential and keeps your skill 2 almost always ready. So I've now explained everything you need to know about Pei's skill 2 in both his human and tiger forms, and now it's time to get into the real shit, the 5 secret tricks you can pull off with this skill. Yes, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 tricks. On top of that, I'll also cover the 3 different types of dashes you can perform using his skill 2, and finally, how you can clear jungle camps more efficiently and quickly with Pei. The first trick is that you can actually control the second dash of Pei's skill 2 in tiger form with your joystick or analog. This is incredibly flexible. You can either bait enemies into wasting their skills, or make a flashy play by going straight past their front line and diving their backline squishy carry when the opportunity arises. Normally, skill 2 is just a small dash, but if you aim it at a nearby wall, it becomes a double dash. The first dash's direction is determined by the skill indicator itself, but the second dash's direction is controlled by your movement joystick. After hitting the wall, if you release your joystick, Pei will cling onto the wall instead of instantly dashing again. This technique is amazing for baiting. The enemy might think you're diving in on them, so they'll waste their skills or spells, but in reality you're just stuck on the wall and can easily retreat to your teammates. On the flip side, you can also drag your joystick at the right time to instantly perform the second dash, which lets you either escape dangerous situations or catch the enemy's core damage dealer by surprise. The second trick has to do with Pei's skill 2 indicator in tiger form. Many players don't know this, but his dash indicator is actually inaccurate. The real dash distance is about 1 body length farther than what's shown. This is why when you watch pro players, their Pei seems to dash much farther than what you see in your own games. Once you understand this, you can push his dash range to its real limit, which makes ganks and pickoffs much more effective. The third trick is about animation canceling the second dash of his skill 2. By default, Pei's double dash has a pretty clunky delay in its cast animation, which makes his combos feel slow and unresponsive. If you don't cancel this, everything feels sluggish and awkward. The solution is simple. Right after giving direction for the second dash with your analog, immediately cast skill 1. This cancels the animation delay entirely, making your execution smooth and snappy while maximizing burst damage potential. The fourth trick lets you hit enemies twice with skill 2 to deal double the damage. For example, you can first dash into a wall behind a camp of monsters, dealing damage to them on the way, then instantly redirect your joystick to dash back into them, hitting them again. This means you can double hit jungle camps or even enemy heroes in one quick sequence, which adds a ton of extra damage in fights. The fifth and final trick is about transferring the buff of his human form skill 2 into his tiger form. If you didn't get it yet, here's how it works. Whenever you cast skill 2 in human form, you gain a shield, deal bonus magic damage, and get a massive 45% attack speed boost. But here's the kicker. If you immediately switch into tiger form after using skill 2 in human form, you'll still keep that attack speed buff. This means you basically carry over human form attack speed into tiger form burst damage. That's insane because tiger form naturally has higher damage but low attack speed, while human form has higher attack speed but lower damage. By merging both, you get the best of both worlds, tiger form damage plus human form attack speed. And this leads directly into how you can clear the jungle very quickly in the early game. Normally, if you only use tiger form, jungle clears feel slow because you're hitting hard but without much attack speed. And if you only use human form, you attack fast but deal much lower damage. So the perfect formula is to combine both. Use skill 2 in human form first, then immediately switch to tiger form. This way you keep the attack speed buff and also benefit from tiger form's raw damage, shredding jungle monsters much faster. Here's the exact jungle clear trick you should follow. When the game timer reaches 23 seconds, switch to human form and be ready. The moment your buff spawns, cast skill 2 to get your shield and boosted attack speed, then instantly switch to tiger form. This significantly speeds up your jungle clearing right from level 1 and gives you an edge in tempo. Every Pei player should master this technique. Now that we're done with the 5 tricks for skill 2 and also learned how to jungle really efficiently, it's time to move on and talk about the 3 different types of dashes Pei can perform. But before I dive into that, I want to first explain his ultimate, because Pei's ultimate actually plays a huge role in helping him pull off those dashes, or in making sure those dashes succeed. So let's first break down his ultimate. Pei's ultimate is actually really simple and easy to understand. There aren't any complicated gimmicks behind it. As I mentioned earlier, Pei has 2 forms, human form and tiger form. And the way he switches between these 2 forms is by using his ultimate. Remember when I said that Pei can switch forms right from level 1? Well, that's because his ultimate is already unlocked at level 1, which is what I meant back then. Now here's how it works. Whenever Pei switches forms using his ultimate, he gains certain buffs, kind of like how his skill 1 works. If he switches into human form, he instantly gains an additional inner energy, or the fireball I mentioned when breaking down his skill 1. This fireball will be thrown at the enemy no matter where they are positioned, even if they're behind Pei, so you don't have to worry about lining it up. On the other hand, when Pei switches into tiger form, he gains an empowered basic attack. When this empowered attack is active, and there's a target within his range, Pei will dash forward and leap directly onto that target with his next basic attack. This effect is actually really similar to Yao's empowered attack. And the best part about this dash is, you can even use this empowered attack to travel through walls. For example, if the blue buff is within your attack range on the other side of a wall, you can just auto-attack it, and Pei will leap across the wall straight onto the buff. That opens up some sneaky mobility options and can be super useful in different situations. And this is exactly why I didn't explain the 3 types of Pei's dashes earlier, because to really understand those dashes, you first need to know about this empowered attack dash from his ultimate, since we'll be using both this and skill 2 as core mechanics to pull them off. So now that you understand how Pei's ultimate works, let's move on and talk about the 3 different types of dashes Pei can perform. The first one is called the return dash, and this is the dash that can instantly deal massive burst damage to delete squishy enemies. Here's how you do it. Imagine you're close to an enemy target and there's a wall right behind them. First, switch your Pei from human form to tiger form. This gives you the empowered attack, which you can use to close the gap if the target is a bit out of reach. Then cast your skill 2 so that it hits the wall while passing through the enemy. After that, quickly flick your analog back toward the target. This will make you dash through them again, dealing a second hit of damage. Since both dashes connect, the burst damage is insane and most squishies won't survive it. The second type is the angled dash, and just like the name suggests, this dash is performed at a certain angle to reach your target. Unlike the return dash, you're not hitting the enemy twice here. You only get 1 hit, but the whole point is creating the right angle to reach them. The best part is that you don't even need the empowered attack for this one. All you do is use skill 2 on a nearby wall and then flick your analog toward the target's direction to dash straight at them. It's quick, clean, and often enough to catch them off guard. And then we have the third one, the long dash, which is honestly one of the important mechanics in Pei's kit. This one heavily relies on the empowered attack. Picture this. Your target is really far away, way out of your normal reach. To close that distance, you first switch from human to tiger form to get the empowered attack, then use skill 2 on a wall. Immediately after, flick your analog toward the target's direction. Now, even if they're still a bit farther away, this is where the empowered attack comes in clutch. You follow it up to leap onto them and finish the kill. And remember what I said earlier, Pei actually covers more distance than what the skill indicator shows, so when you put this all together, the long dash covers a ridiculous amount of ground. That's why this mechanic is so crucial to mastering him. And look, you might think you don't really need these dashes, or that you can be lazy and still get by without learning them, but if you play Pei that way, you're honestly just holding yourself back. Once you start practicing and pulling off these dashes consistently, the difference is night and day. Not only will it completely change the way you play Pei, but your teammates might genuinely think you're some pro player because you'll be pulling off crazy movements and plays they've probably never seen from a regular Pei user. Not gonna lie, Pei has to be one of the heroes with the absolute simplest settings. Like seriously, in the current version there's basically only one setting that actually matters, and that's the skill casting method. You need to set this to tap to cast. Doing that is super important, because it lets you switch between your forms at maximum speed, and it makes the transition smooth, which directly raises your skill ceiling. Other than that, the rest of the settings are really generic and honestly just come down to your personal preferences. Nothing too special to worry about. But if you're curious about exactly how I run my Pei settings, then let me go ahead and show you what I'm using.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah.
When it comes to Pei's build and arcana, let me tell you something you probably haven't heard before. Pei is honestly one of the most versatile heroes in Honor of Kings when it comes to builds. This guy can literally build almost anything and still make it work. You can go for any combo of items like Axe of Torment, Doomsday, Master Sword, Cuirass of Savagery, Siegebreaker, and Pure Sky, and in more special situations you can even build Ominous Premonition, Frostscar Embrace, or Succubus Cloak. Basically, whatever you enjoy playing with, you can build it on him and still get value. That being said, I'd recommend you almost always pick up Axe of Torment as your first core item, since it just works so well with him. But if you want, you can also go Doomsday first, and that's completely fine too. Like I said, he's extremely versatile, and that flexibility gives you a ton of opportunities to experiment with different builds or combos of items. Now, if you're still a beginner and unsure of what you should actually run, then don't overthink it. Just copy the build I'm showing you on the screen. For the Arcana setup, go with 10x Hunt, 10x Eagle Eye, and 10x Conflict. This combination gives you a solid balance of burst, sustain, and movement speed, which really fits Pei's playstyle. To be honest, Pei's builds are double-edged sword. If you go all in on damage, you can one-shot enemies, but you'll also be so squishy that you risk getting one-shotted yourself. On the other hand, if you stack too many tanky items, you become way too hard to kill but end up doing no damage at all, which makes you completely ineffective. So my advice is that you keep testing out different builds and item combos, and stick with the one that feels the most comfortable for you. Okay, now we've reached the heart and soul of this video, Pei's combos. In this section, I'm going to show you 3 different combos that you can practice, learn, and then start pulling off in your real matches. After that, I'll also tell you when to switch forms and which form to use in different situations. Like I mentioned before, Pei is a tempo jungler, and playing him really tests your mastery of in-game strategy. But compared to a lot of other junglers, his combos are actually pretty simple, which is exactly why he's so beginner-friendly and why I recommend grinding with him if you're new to the jungle role. The very first combo we'll talk about is the finisher combo, which is 2-1-A in Tiger form. You want to use this whenever you see an enemy with low HP trying to escape. This combo is basically designed to instantly delete them. To pull it off, you start by using skill 2 in Tiger form, preferably on a wall or terrain, to dash and close the gap on your target. You can even mix in an angled dash here if needed. Then you instantly follow up with skill 1 to lunge forward and bite them. And finally throw in 1 or 2 basic attacks. By then, the target's already dead. The second combo is a little longer. It's A1, 2, A3, 2, 1. This one starts in human form. First, you use skill 1 to apply a slow on your target, then skill 2 to gain a shield and attack speed boost. After that, you instantly switch into tiger form and use skill 2 followed by skill 1 to burst down the enemy. Now here's the important part I told you about earlier. If you use skill 2 in human form and then switch into tiger form, that attack speed boost carries over, which means your tiger form not only hits harder, but also pumps out way more basic attacks in the same time. This is what makes this combo so deadly. The third combo is kind of the reverse. It's 2A, 1, 3, 2, 1A. You start this one in tiger form. If the enemies are a little bit out of range but there's a wall nearby, you use skill 2 on the wall for a double dash to get close, then immediately follow up with skill 1 to lunge and bite them. After that, you use skill 3 to switch into human form, which gives you an extra inner energy, fireball, to throw at the enemy. From there, you use skill 2 for shield and attack speed boost, and if they still try to run away, you finish them off with a well-aimed skill 1. And that's it for Pei's basic combos. Honestly, compared to some of the other junglers in this game, they're not hard at all. So after you finish watching this video, hop into practice mode and start practicing these combos. It won't take you long to learn them, and once you do, you'll feel a massive difference in how smooth and effective your Pei gameplay becomes. Now let's talk about when to switch forms and which form to use, because honestly, a lot of players still feel unsure about this. So let me give you some clarity. Tiger form is at its best when you're farming the jungle, or when you're looking for wall cross executions. On the other hand, human form shines when you need to poke or when you want to output consistent damage through your ranged basic attacks. So basically, use tiger form for clearing monsters and making those flashy executions through walls, and switch to human form whenever you need to poke or output sustained damage from range. That's it for this video, lads. I hope the information I shared today really helped you out and gave you a deeper understanding of Pei. I truly hope I didn't miss or skip any important points. If I did, then I sincerely apologize. Also, sorry for the delay on this upload. I barely had free time this week, so I worked on it bit by bit. And hey, if any pro Pei players are watching and you know something I don't, please drop it down in the comments so everyone can learn. I'd love to pick up something new as well. If you enjoyed this video and felt like your knowledge of this hero leveled up, then please drop a like. It really helps with the algorithm and pushes this video out to more aspiring Pei players. Also, don't forget about the YouTube hype feature. You get 3 hypes per week, and I'd be super grateful if you used one on this video to help it reach the top for all the hard work I put in. Make sure to subscribe as well to join my amazing W subscribers family, the best people out here. And stay tuned because I'll be bringing you lots more Honor of Kings guides in the future. And of course, share this video with your friends too. In the end, I just want to say I'm genuinely so glad you're here with me. I really appreciate all the support you've given this channel. That's it for now. See you all in the next video. Love y'all.